gun and shoot for the sky.
Hello and welcome to the Ring Post Daily Podcast. I am your former RPD Prophecy Champion, Tyreek Ramsey. He is Joey Hudson. He is our new Ring Post Daily Prophecy Champion, Austin Cochran.
First time ever.
And we are your hosts of the RPD Podcast. And we have a very special guest, one of our most special in general that we've had. You may have seen her on the indie scene of wrestling. You may have seen her in AEW working matches, or you may even see her as maybe a paramedic on WWE. One of those, you've probably seen her there. But introducing the one and only Shawna Reed. How you doing today?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're doing great. It's always a pleasure to do these interviews.
Doing good. We're actually happy to have you on because we went through like a lot of wrestlers trying to see who wants to come on and stuff, and you were like the most realistic one. I mean, we had people like before break promises and ghost us and never hear from again. But yeah, I looked up indie stuff on Facebook, and I saw videos and I saw a couple of your clips show up, and that's what brought you up. I was like, well, we should have her on, and I didn't even know nothing about anywhere you worked until I found out who you were and did your homework. So like after doing my homework about you, it's like, oh wow, we got a bigger guest than I expected.
Right. She also just so happens to be from Kentucky as well, like most of our guests.
I'm from Ohio. I live in Tennessee now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you said you were from Kentucky earlier.
No, Fairfield, Ohio. I was born and raised there until I was 28, and then I've been down in Tennessee for 3.5 years now.
Nice.
Okay.
And how long have you said you've been wrestling for in total?
It'll be 11 years in September. So
Wow,
too long.
Wow. No, not too long.
Way too long.
All right. Before we get into the questions, I have to say this. Austin Cochran, congrats on winning the RPD champion from me. I made of course, I made a prediction earlier this year that you would be the one to take the title off me because you've been killing it this year as far as the predictions go. And so I just had to say congrats to you.
Well, thank you, buddy.
It really was a good match, though, guys. I know Shawna here is probably like, what the hell are they talking about? But we do like pay-per-view predictions for points and stuff for our titles and rings here on the show. And Austin, and this ain't and don't throw this away, Ty. This is his first ever title ever in Ring Post Daily since coming to the show. So
well, no, I think he won. I thought he won the ring once. I'm pretty sure he won.
I
the
don't
ring.
think
I
so.
did win the ring.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
You
Yeah,
did?
he won it one time.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Well, this is your first
couple
title. I can't wait
times.
for you to get that in the mail. And we also are missing our good friend of the show, Eddie Wade. He is not here tonight due to a wrestling injury he obtained from his match with Golden Boy at TSW this week, but he'll be back shortly. He's just taking the night off. But we have some questions here for you, Shawna, and I want to dive right in. And I was going to ask you earlier, what does your friends and your family think about you being a wrestler?
I got very mixed kind of emotions on family side. So the beginning, my parents hated it to the point they did not come and see me wrestle ever. It took about a year for my mom, and then my dad actually is the one that shocked me. He didn't come for 2 years, and that was actually like I said, that shocked me because of what saved mine and my dad's relationship at one point was wrestling, us playing the video games and stuff. So I thought, okay, if I freaking joined it, he would be right there, boom, but he wasn't. His brothers and stuff would come see me. His father even came and see me, but he did not. And then there was one night when I went out to the crowd and I saw him in the crowd. I didn't know he was coming. And yeah, then it was freaking my daughter does this. My daughter's so cool. Like, oh, there's this move you have to hit, and before every single time you hit this move, you have to yell for my father. You know, like, so it was he had his favorite move set, all that stuff, and then so yeah, no, now pretty much everybody on my dad's side who's very much kind of like the laid back, kind of like the I've always been like the tomboy in the family. And so they're very much all like, oh, you still wrestling? What are you doing? What are you doing? Where are you going? You know, what are you doing? My mom's side, very more, I believe they think that a girl should be, you know, doing girly stuff. And that's not me. And so they think it's cool, but it's not like my aunt, my grandma before she passed would always tell me that I need to quit because that's, you know, like things like that. So it's mixed emotions, but I think more so now everybody thinks it's actually really, really cool.
Why did they want you to quit? Just because it's dangerous, or that's not girl like, or what?
Because I'm a girl and I should not be doing this stuff.
But there's girl wrestlers. There has been since like, I mean, the 40s. Like we're talking like Mae Young and Fabulous Moolah. Beyond
Yeah.
that, like we're
My little grandma, like bless her heart, like I said, she passed a few years ago, and she just was like, oh no, that's not what a woman does, you know, that's how she was raised. And she always still like, she never like was like mean about it. She always like, oh, you're still doing that, like, you know, you should quit, you're too pretty to be doing. I'm like, grandma, like, you know, like a little old lady grandma like that does that. So but yeah, like I said, everybody thinks it's pretty cool. And yeah, it's all, I think that's where we're at now. They're like, okay, this isn't a phase, she's not gonna stop, so we might as well just
she's gonna do it regardless, so we might as well just, you know.
exactly
I was gonna say, did your dad give any like specific reasoning why he stayed distant for a couple years?
No, you know what? He didn't, and I wish I could ask him, but he actually passed almost a year ago.
Oh,
So,
sorry to hear that.
yeah. But like, I really don't know. That's yeah something I'm still stumped about. But maybe it was just because he didn't want to see like his little girl like getting like beat up, or and I also understand too, like
That could be.
the women's gear too is also very sexualized. Even though when dad came and saw me, I was not comfortable with my body, my weight, anything at that time. I still had quite some weight on me. And my gear was very modest. Like it came all the way down. I wore pants, you know, and that's when he came and saw me. And so, but I think it might have been more he just didn't want to see like his little girl getting beat up because I was like his little girl, and like him wanting to come and freaking like kill somebody, maybe. I don't know.
Sounds about right.
So, yeah.
Go ahead, Austin.
So do any of your like have any of your friends been to any of your shows?
Yeah, I've had actually so I'm a nurse in real life too. So I've actually had my whole like practice came and saw me wrestle here in Tennessee one time, and then in Ohio, and I worked at another practice. They all came actually the opening night of the company that me and my ex-husband opened up. So they came for that. And then now, like, I have this guy, best friend, John, and he, anytime there's like a show around, he wants to go. That's all he talks about. He thinks it's the coolest thing in the world. And he actually has asked me to train him to be a referee. So hopefully getting him into it soon. So
that's what my next venture is. Like I'm the manager of Eddie Wade, who's not here tonight, but I'm his wrestling manager, and I've always said that if and when I don't plan on it, but if and when our time does come to an end together, I will not manage anybody else. I will be a referee. I'm going to train to be a referee, and but yeah, I was like, I'm not. Everyone's like, well, you can always pick a new person. Like, no, Eddie Wade's the one guy for me. After that, no more. Eddie's the only guy for me.
yeah,
no, only time will tell that.
I think John
Eddie's my boy.
I've tried to get John to get in there and take a bump a few times, and he's like, and I'm like, I can't blame him. It freaking hurts.
Yeah.
So like,
well, like when I got in it, like I managed like a couple matches with some other wrestlers, and it just went nowhere. And before you know it, I'm just showing up to these shows and doing nothing. Basically, no one there. And Eddie says, "Well, why not put him with me?" And since we're like both on the same podcast and everything, so Eddie picked me out of the rubble and gave my somewhat wrestling career, management career, a reason again. So I can't give anyone else what I'm giving Eddie. So when you say like, oh well, time will tell. Like, oh, I know. That's not something that the universe can choose to happen. I got that on lock. I know Eddie's the guy for me.
I'm sure
But I
Paul
would like to
Heyman
be a
has-
referee after that.
I'm sure Paul Heyman has said that a few times, but
Shut your mouth. But no, I really would like to venture out into a referee career one day. Be a fair one too, a fair one.
about time.
None of that crooked stuff. I mean, I did referee one match for our TSW where our Eddie Wade wrestles, and I did referee one match, and they said I did pretty good for someone who's never repped a match. And I'm like, I just did what I saw on TV, bro. Like that's what it was. So
Yeah.
I like to do that more one day.
Yeah.
go ahead, Austin.
All right, Shawna. So my first question for you is, what's your most memorable match to date and why?
Probably I had it was called a Super Zeta Memorial. It was actually to crown the first Super Zeta champion. Zeta was one of my trainers, and he was actually like pretty much my best friend at that like for the longest time, and he passed away due to cancer. And so they did a like the ones that Zeta kind of took under his wing. They put us all in a tournament, and they made a title for the Super Zeta championship. And like Zeta was a freaking luchador that freaking was insanely talented and crazy on cardio, and just Zeta was insane. And I was his project. I really was. And like I said, we got so close. He was genuinely like my best friend. And they put me and Logan Blackheart in the match together because he's also started really helping Logan. And so we went out there and we genuinely killed it. And it was just super emotional. So I think that one's probably my most memorable because it was just a guy who was like my father, who was actually Logan's father, was ringside managing Logan. So he was out there the whole thing. Like Logan is literally like my little brother. I would literally I would protect that kid. He could literally go and he could commit the crime, and I would be like, nope. I would protect that boy with everything. I love him. I love his dad, Ripper Blackheart's his worker name, and I would do anything for him. Well, to have those guys out there, literally, and they were there from the beginning too. Have those guys out there, and then just to have that match and it be for Zeta, and then winning the title, being the first Super Zeta champion, was that itself was more that 100% is the most memorable one for me. I like ones that can cause emotion in not just the wrestlers, but the people too. And like the story we told and the tribute to Zeta, because literally everything we did literally his drills like to a T in the match. And so I think that's probably the most memorable
That's
one.
awesome.
Did you say that you won a title?
Yeah.
Now, I gotta ask, did our people list that title in the graphic?
I don't think so.
Really? Okay. Because when they put that stuff together, they go based off their homework, and I was just curious if they were that good.
No, so that cage, I don't know if they looked at Cage Match. I don't know if they've looked at other things, but like Cage Match or whatever site is out there barely has anything. Like they're like, oh, you've just won 2 titles. I'm like, literally 1 year I had 9 titles.
Well, I mean, I found out like more titles that you've held because when I did my research on that part, I went through like other wrestling databases or
Mhm.
database, and it had like your account on there, or at least
Mhm.
your profile, and
Mhm.
I was able to like to get stuff from them too. So I went to Cage Side and I saw some, but I scattered around and found bits and pieces here.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, no, this that's like some people are like, oh, so you've won like one time. Like, no, at one point I was holding 9 at one time, so I don't know what you're talking
Wow,
about.
yeah, 9 at one time. Jeez,
Like,
talk about the belt collector.
Yeah, well,
yeah, like I did. That's what when I went around, like I made like the announcer literally say that I was holding like I think it got up to 9 at one point. So I made commentary and I was made the freaking ring announcer say currently holding this many like at that time, and then like I was like, okay, well now nothing. Now I'm like I hold like 2. So
And you said you're
hmm
a nurse and a wrestler. Now she's like the Britt Baker of Ohio.
oh yeah.
The Ohio Britt Baker.
well, we're already on the topic of titles, and that actually leads into my next question. So I've asked this, to other indie wrestlers we've been on here with, and I was just wondering, like, from your point of view, what does it mean to you as an indie wrestler to win a championship? Because I've heard people say that, it shows that the promotion's trust in me when they give me a championship, or it means that they consider me the top guy, or I can or it's like a responsibility. But what does it mean to you as an indie wrestler to win a championship?
I mean, it definitely is. It does put a lot of responsibility on you as that person because you are now representing that person's division, that company's division.
Hmm.
Um, and like so that is definitely a big responsibility. Um, I, like yeah, that's I guess that does like mean a lot to me because it's like okay, this company, this promoter can trust me enough to lead this to like kind of take care of this division for as however long they want to put this
They
Uh-huh.
see
this
value in you.
exactly. So even if it's like it's like they're like oh it's a storyline like you're losing it like the next show like even like say that happens I'd be like you know what that's fine because it's helping progress the company in general like putting this title on me I am now a part of helping this company grow or like in any aspect even if I'm just like escalating another person so that they can put the title on this person in the next one. Thankfully that's never happened, but like even in general, like like it's like I'm helping this company become something. I'm helping this division go in another direction, in a direction that will hopefully captivate audiences, even if my title runs short, even if my title runs long. Literally, I just lost a title that I've held for 2 years, 2 months ago. So it's like like it's just pretty much it means I when someone puts a title on me, I see it as you're entrusting in me to help move your company forward, and
Yes.
that means a lot to me. So, yeah,
That's one thing I love about titles is like you just gotta hold it once, and like something even as big as like the WWE title, like Kane held it for a day, Rey Mysterio held it for like 2 hours before Cena beat him that night and stole it from him, and then Andre the Giant held it for 15 seconds. But they're still WWE champions of the past and stuff, and like
yeah, your name's in
that
that
one
history
time,
book. It
that
doesn't say
one
how many
time.
times. Yeah, that like your name's still in whatever history book that there is out there. It doesn't say how long you had it. Your name's just
That's
there.
why I don't
Yeah,
understand we
yeah,
haven't seen like a
literally.
heel. I don't understand why we haven't seen like a heel wrestler be like, bro, I just need to hold it once. Like, that's all I
Yeah,
care about. Like, I understand you want to hold it as many times as possible, but like, if someone's like, oh, I beat you for it, like, bro, I held it. Like, I got what I wanted out of it. Like, you can't
yeah,
take that from me. Like,
exactly, exactly. I'm there. My name's there. You can't take it away now.
Yeah,
yeah,
what I've
I'm a
kind of
wrestling
noticed
facts
is just
nerd. That's
that
how I was able to list all that off.
I've just kind of noticed that it says a lot. Not only that you're able to carry the company for however time, or even the title itself for however time, but it shows that they believe that you have integrity, you have this, you have values, you're going to represent the company in a certain light rather than just because they're not going to put it on just anybody. Or
Yeah.
or let me rephrase. Not anybody just wins the title. So it's like
Not everybody gets to hold a title.
yeah, and it's like even me, like just now
Our YouTube has covered
being
that like 2 or 3 times, by the way.
being something as small as like or not small, but like for us RPD. When I held the title, I just knew like of course I wanted everything, but I didn't want to just be posting random stuff that didn't really represent, or I didn't want to like share heavy opinions to where they were my own personal thoughts and could reflect us as a whole. So yeah, I was saying all that to say it says a lot when you win a title.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I wanted to know this too. When I found out where you wrestled and probably the locker rooms that you shared with many different wrestlers, what's the biggest difference between a locker room like AEW and OVW compared to the Indies? I know a bit about the Indies. I'm right there with Eddie Wade every month, but what's the difference between the Indies to you and the bigger leagues?
Well, obviously the production. The production is way bigger, and there's a lot more people, obviously, in the bigger companies like WWE or AEW. Like, there's people running around everywhere. Like, and everybody's got their specific job and things like that. It's a lot, but it's a lot more. I think I would call the big leagues like controlled chaos, and indie wrestling just simply chaos.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, because it's
Well, I
like,
mean, I'd imagine like the Indies are like more chill.
Well,
Like
I was
our
gonna
locker
say,
room, me and
yeah,
Eddie's locker room, like I mean, it's everyone's got their beefs and they settle it there in the ring, like wrestlers do. But
yeah.
that locker room is a good place, and and I think it's pretty chill. Is the Indies more chill than being backstage in a locker room at AEW or OVW?
Um, so depends on the company where it's at. I mean, yeah, they're more chilled on like what you can do in your mat. Like, they're like, just, you got 10 minutes, you're the heel, you're the baby, you're over, you're whatever. Do whatever you want as long as it's in between that time frame and you give me that, cool. And that's like, and then you get obviously way more than 5 minutes, which is nice. On the indies. I still count OVW as an indie promotion. I mean, I worked for them for 5 years, and then they made me a demon character where I spit mist at people and like did all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they are kind of like at Indies, I guess. Yeah.
that's what I was
Yeah,
gonna
like,
mention. Or go ahead.
yeah,
Sorry about that.
no, they're 100% an indie promotion, just with a little bit bigger thing, like little bit bigger production. Um, so I mean, yeah, but once again, I do think that the upper, like WWE, AEW, controlled chaos.
Yeah,
OVW, somewhat controlled, more uncontrolled chaos. Indies, as in like, I'm trying to think. They don't really have. Obviously, a lot of places don't have agents. A lot of places don't have like all this stuff. So it's like, okay, a lot of places don't have TV. So they're like pretty much, like, hey, go out there. You got 15. Do whatever you want. This is how I want the finish. You're the heel. You're the baby. Have fun. Like, and those are nice because I enjoy going out there and telling a story. I'm very creative in my mind, so I'm like, that's how I wrestle too. It's like, I don't go out there and you're not going to see 1,000,012 flips from me. I'm trained
yeah.
very old school. I'm trained 100% old school, and been in this too long. My knees are screwed. I've had too many concussions. I've wrestled on a broken neck. I've wrestled on a cracked sternum. Actually, I literally could not wrestle on my cracked sternum. So I was out for those few weeks. Ribs, everything, like, so yeah, I'm very much like, what, I'm a storyteller. You're not going to see crazy flashy moves. I'll pull some out here and there, but you're going to have a story. You're going to follow from the beginning to the end, and our story will be told unless we're continuing. So,
Well, if you watch wrestling, it's like 90% storytelling and 10% wrestling. It really is. And
it's
that's
very,
what and I think that's like and people might say they like the wrestling, but I think it's the story that really gets everyone involved. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was going to mention earlier, it seems like, like the way you're explaining it was, the biggest difference between both of them is that, the higher ups or, the upper leagues, I guess you could say, have maybe a system in place. And it seems like, OVW is still an indie, but it has a system and it has production. It has,
100%.
things that, yeah. And, there are just some where they just don't, sometimes it just happens where, but, how you mentioned the agents, all the people, the production, all of this. It's all a system working in place. And then, like you said, OVW has
I'd
that,
say,
but some indies don't
I,
necessarily do.
Everybody has their job, and that's what they do. Everybody
Yes.
has their job and what they have to do, and that's where that person is. Everybody, like I said, like literally, for instance, WWE, say they are looking for, let's say they're looking for Rhea Ripley. They need her to all of a sudden now go out and do a run-in. They will get on their little mic and say, "Someone find me Rhea."
Mhm.
And literally Rhea will be, let's say she's out at her car, but someone will find Rhea, like, but for instance, like I could be like, say like at a company and then they're like, hey, we now need Shawna to go out and do something. I could be out of my car.
Mm-hmm.
My music's playing, but I don't know what the heck's going
oh my
on.
God.
Like,
Yeah.
I gotta go. That's my jam.
And it is,
yeah,
it's kind of like,
I'm like, that's a really cool thing. Yeah. Oh shit.
it's more like, are you going to tell her? Or are you going to tell, like, who's going to tell her? Like, somebody has to, yeah, who's going to go find her?
So what's going on? Like,
It also said too that you did some work in TNA, which I think it's really neat that you've seen like all these wrestling environments, and a lot of fans like wish they knew what it was like to not only wrestle, but like wrestle in these companies, and you've done that. But what was it like meeting a lot of them wrestlers in the locker rooms? Like, I mean, I don't know who you've met, but if you go like into, let's say, an AEW or a TNA locker room, I imagine if you have a match, you're on until show's over, pile up, let's go. So I imagine like after or before your match, you get to meet a lot of the wrestlers on the show and stuff. What's that been like? Maybe meeting some of them wrestlers you either grown up watching or just really look up to. People that are
so
legends maybe now today too.
yeah,
AJ
yeah,
Styles maybe. Who knows who you met?
yeah. No, so I've pretty much met. I'm not gonna lie. I pretty much met probably 95% of the upper people. Um, like genuinely. The two locker, like AEW and WWE, the locker rooms are very, very different. Like it was really cool. Like, I'm who isn't a Rhea Ripley fan? I would, yeah. Anyway, and I went up to her and I said something so freaking stupid because she's the first wrestler that has actually made me nervous in a very long time. As in, like, I was trying not to fangirl when I was meeting her. And we were at the like she was up, we were just in catering, and like all the boys there, all the other guy extras are like, go do it, this is your moment, she's alone, go do it, go say hi, go introduce yourself. And I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna do it, it's gonna be great, it's gonna be fantastic. And I went up there and I said something just stupid, like to me embarrassing, but like my character is very strange, very weird in general. And so I went up to her and I said, hey, thanks for being weird like us. And I'm like, and I posted about that on Twitter and she freaking liked it and it was fine. Everything was great. So that works. Maybe like 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half. But yeah, and then I got to wrestle Victoria, so that was really yeah, so that was kind of like a childhood like thing. And then, but there have been like, some girls that I had actually like, worked with on the indies prior to them getting signed. And I had a match with them in one of these companies. and she completely changed,
Yeah.
not for the better.
Oh, really?
You know, yeah, not for the better at all. Completely different. Um, and then but then I get to meet like people I've said, the best person I have ever met. The best person is Kevin Owens, to AT.
Really?
Kevin
I hear
Owens,
that a lot. I've heard that a lot.
he is such a genuine person, and he gives a crap about the extras. A lot of times our locker room, even the women's locker room, for the extras, the men have a locker room, but they don't give us one for the women. They're like, oh, just put your bags under this desk.
Hmm.
But Kevin, and sometimes we're in a bathroom, and then Kevin would be like, do you guys got chairs back there? I'm getting you chairs. And then he would just go grab chairs from catering and put them in the bathroom.
That's awesome.
And then I've even watched where he was supposed to have a squash match with somebody. Like somebody was supposed to, have a match with him, and it got pulled last second. And then he went back and literally made sure this guy knew how sorry he was that it got squashed, that he was excited working him, went out of his way. So, Kevin is a genuine dude, like literally a just great guy. And then I've had a really good experience with Cena myself, and that was
Oh my god, I gotta hear that. Look, I'm kind of like heartbroken about what's going on with the Cena thing.
Yeah.
I think as a fan, I took this heel turn like the worst way, and
Destroyed his
but
childhood.
still, the guy, for real, like the guy is my hero, and I don't like this a dang bit. But I gotta hear your Cena experience, as much as you can remember that.
Oh no, I remember it all because I was panicking. I was like, no, stop it. But as a kid, also, I was mainly when I was a child, literally no joke. I was such a big fan of Kane and the Undertaker. And then as I started getting older, I was like, oh, hello Cena, hello Shawn Michaels, how are you guys doing? But anyway, so I was backstage. I was going in backstage at WWE for one of the extra stuff, and we went through security. And these people decided they were going to open my suitcase and take out everything and make sure there was nothing in my suitcase. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And when they did, they just kind of threw it all on the floor and pretty much said, here's your suitcase. This wasn't anybody in WWE, by the way. This was that venue's security.
Security?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Yeah, that was that venue's security. It wasn't.
But I imagine you had some type of ID or name check, so that way they knew before you even walked in with your bag, okay, she's supposed to be here. But they still did that.
Yeah, this was, like I said, this was the venue security. It was not anybody WWE.
Where was this? And do you know where that was? Shame on them.
I don't.
That's
done
like bullying.
But literally, anyways, this was actually my first encounter with Cena too. I'd been on many shows, but he had not been on the shows. He's been gone for a while. And then so he all of a sudden, like I said, they kind of just put my bag on the floor and kind of just ruffled all my stuff around. So I had to take my bag. Actually, it wasn't on the floor yet. It was more on the side, and then it gets to the floor. So I'm trying to ruffle, and then all of a sudden I hear a voice, and without even turning my head, I know it's Cena. And I'm sitting there and he's going through security too. And he's got a suitcase, a bag, and all that stuff. And I'm just like, oh, shit. So I pick up my bag with all my stuff everywhere from the security guard. And I put on and I just I'm rushing to move out of Cena's way, get out of this man's way. I do not want to be a roadblock right here. No. And so I'm putting my stuff away, trying to go really quickly, trying to be a little a little shrunk. So don't look at me. Don't. And then all of a sudden, I see an extra pair of hands, and he was like, "Here, let me help you." And then he literally was helping me put my stuff away. And then when I zipped it up, I'm like, "Oh, okay, thanks." And he's like, "Where are you going?" And I was like, "Women's female extra." And he goes, "Perfect." And he picks up my thing and he starts walking with it, with my suitcase. And I'm sitting there no, give me my bag. Give me my bag. Because if anybody, if anybody sees John Cena carrying my bag and my luggage, that's going to look bad on me. And I'm like, no, I got it. I'm good. Thanks. No. And he's like, He's like, no, you're good. And he's walking. He's like, just come with me. And I'm like, no, no. And we get to right there, and like he literally goes up to somebody, where's female extra talent? They point the way, and he takes me to the locker room, and I'm like, and just gives me my bag right outside the door, and I'm like, thank you. He's like, no problem.
I bet that's because like I mean, he obviously saw this, I guess, or walked in on it, your bag, or this happening. So I feel like him walking you there with your bag was kind of like, see, with me, no one's gonna question it. If you're walking with John Cena, it doesn't matter who you are. If you're with John Cena at a WWE event, like no one's gonna question like who you are.
Yeah. No. So I was like,
I feel like people like that, The Rock, Stone Cold, Triple H. I feel like they're wrestlers just like John Cena who can get away with that.
No, I would have been like, take my bag. I would have been like, I'll take your bag. Like, let's go to your locker. Like, I'll carry you. I'll escort you.
Yeah, give me your freaking bag. Anything else I can carry for you? Like,
See, that's why Cena is my hero, because like I love them stories about him. But the heel turn just too much for me.
I love the heel turn. Love it.
Now, I do remember hearing one Kevin Owens thing where like a little girl went to a WWE event. She was supposed to meet like any wrestler she chooses, and she chose Roman Reigns. This was like big dog Roman Reigns days, and he wasn't at the SmackDown or the event. So then she chose John Cena, and he wasn't there, and she had like Roman Reigns makeup on and everything. Well, Kevin Owens was the wrestler she got to meet, and I guess the mom said like, he was like, well, they don't deserve to see you, blah, blah, blah. And he just made her night way much better. The mom said, like, before the show started, she went and wiped off all of her Roman Reigns makeup and then was cheering Kevin Owens on at the event. And I was like, I like Kevin Owens for that. Like, he was still a bad guy a couple times since then, but, like, I like the outside stories, too. Like,
yeah.
Like, CM Punk, yeah, I don't forgive him a damn bit. Hulk Hogan, there's a reason he blocked me on Twitter. I think the two wrestlers I'd say F you to is like, for me, is Punk or Hogan. But like, Cena's my hero. I'd love to meet that guy so much.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Austin.
All right. So doing what you do, I imagine you do a fair little bit of traveling. And I know anytime I do that, I always end up in funny little situations. There's always something that happens. So I just want to know what's your
funny little
shenanigans. The shenanigans.
That's something that Austin would say.
Funny little shenanigans. So I just want to know, what's your funniest travel story?
Probably. This is actually one of the beginning of my career. Actually, it's still the best one to this day. Let's just say I went up to Michigan. I was in Michigan wrestling, and they got us all hotel rooms, and somehow my key decided to be the master key.
Oh.
To every single room in the hotel. My key opened up every door.
Wow.
And Shawna, intoxicated, has
oh no.
good times. And it wasn't just me it wasn't me just intoxicated. It was like 4 other people. And when I walked into my room, I immediately saw who I was rooming with. Was like, and this was once again my first year of wrestling. I walked into the room, saw who my roommate was because they were already asleep. Chris Masters from Master Lock. Chris Masters.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I walked back out because I was like, nope, not happening. And I ended up rooming with my trainer that night because I was like, I'm not gonna room like with this. I'm like I was still a fangirl at that moment. I was like, I'm not rooming with Chris Masters. I'm fangirling. I can't room with Chris Masters. And even though I just wrestled him, like I wrestled him and his wife like the next show. But then like I said, so then me and like Eric Smalls, who's in NWA right now, me, him, Sean Casey, and then my trainer, we all, and then Andrew Darcy, who was the promoter, we all decided we were gonna go. We knew where Shark Boy was. We knew where all these people were, and we were going to just run in and jump on everybody while they were asleep.
Oh man, frog splashes for
That's
everybody.
what happened. That is what happened. And we even, went in on somebody doing the deed.
Oh.
But it was. But then when that happened, like Eric Smalls, who was freaking Eric Smalls, he ran in there and jumped on them and freaking he's like, I'll join too.
God.
Eric's the little guy, and he's like, and it was funny. That was still one of the best. We even lived it. It was bad. It was real bad.
If that would have been me, if booked in a room with a wrestler, I'd have been like, bro, make you a deal. I'll give you the room to yourself. I'll leave now, but give me a selfie and an 8x10.
Hey, the man was
I'm crazy about my 8x10 autographs, as you can tell. I even got Shawna above my head here. But yeah, I'd be like 8x10 me and selfie me, and I'm out. You got the whole.
He was asleep, bro. So I guarantee that man doesn't even know that I walked in, that I was his roommate. I guarantee he woke up thinking he got the room by himself. But I was like, nope, not happening. I was, like I said, I was so new that I was like, I am fangirling right now. I cannot share a room with him.
I do the same because
Well,
Chris Masters is that's a guy specifically from my childhood of watching. It's like
exactly.
Yes,
it's
yes.
It's like he was there during that time, and he was one of those who stayed in that era almost, as far as WWE goes.
Yeah.
Well, before I even joined Ring Post Daily, my dog here, Ellie Mae, I have her. She has a Facebook page, and I got her a bunch of business cards made, and I handed them out. Did everything I could just to get my dog's face out there. I'd go to the grocery store and bend the cereal box just a bit, slide the card in. When they get home, this unopened box of cereal, what the heck is this dog? So I go to a wrestling event, and I think I got this Seth Rollins autograph, and we went to the parking lot after the show where the wrestlers would go to their car, get on their bus, and there was Liv Morgan, and I gave her one of my dog's business cards, and she grabbed it, and I gave her another one. It's like, hey, can I have your autograph? So when she signed my dog's business card, now my dog's part of my wrestling collection, which I think is cool. And I always wondered, did she ever take that business card that I gave her? Maybe she just shoved it in her purse. She's with her wrestling girlfriends. And does anyone know whose dog this is? I don't know. It's cute, but who is it? I don't know where I got this from. I mean, there was so many people, and she was in her car driving, and she was still stopping and signing autographs. That's how I got it. She probably wouldn't remember who gave her a business card with her dog.
Yeah.
Not when she gets cut to the next town and was like, who gave me this? But I was like, has Nia Jax, Natalia, and everyone saw that business card and said,
maybe
she
has maybe she just has an area for all her gifts from her fans, or she has a storage.
For example, what if it was hey, go to my purse and get this? Hey, whose dog is this? I don't know, it's cute, but that's awesome.
All right. So, Shawna, being an almost 11-year vet, when did you when did you know it was time to evolve your character in the ring? Because, it's I, did some research. You used to wear tights to the ring. You used to have blonde hair. I believe you wore a beanie at one point to the ring before. And so being someone who's not only experienced many different companies and different levels of the business, when did you know it was time to evolve as a character?
When I felt like I was getting stale. I felt like I wasn't either. I felt like I was literally here. I felt like there wasn't going up. I wasn't going down. I was just stuck in the middle. And also being able to be, I always tell people you have to be able to be confident being uncomfortable, going out of your comfort zone, because my character, she's very, she's very like, she's crazy, you know, like she has like, she starts out with like, you know, you think she's normal, but freaking like she's like you're pretty much like your ex-girlfriend, like, you know, like goes like she's actually psychotic. And but then like even when I went and lived and trained with Dustin Rose for a little while, he made me schizophrenic where I actually talked to myself. And which got over really well. But the thing is, on just one-off shows, it didn't get over well because everybody's like, what's going on? Now, when I was doing it at FGW, that company that I helped open, we ran every Friday. So I got to do the split personality disorder to the point where we told that story where literally at one point, one of my personalities completely took over me. And like, you know, like I was that kind of character. But like, so yeah, and I'm still evolving. Like I literally just bought like crazy. I just spent a lot of money on freaking this brand new crazy gear that I just got. And it's from the girl who like does Tiffany's gear, who does like Lyra Valkyria's gear, who does Chelsea's gear, you know. And I just have, you know what, screw it, I'm gonna invest one more freaking time, you know, like I've been, because I don't have many more years left. I want to, you know, I want to be a mom, you know, I want to do all this stuff. I don't have kids, but I'm 31, you know, I want to move on to that part of life soon. And with all my injuries and stuff like that, like a lot of untreated injuries, you know, like it's all starting to catch up. And so I'm not dumb and I'm not stupid, you know, like I know like the time is coming. I don't know when, I don't know how many more years I have left, you know, like, and unfortunately something could happen like next week where it's a career ending, you know, and you never know. So it's like,
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So it's genuinely, so I think I keep evolving because I keep on being like, I feel like I'm at this middle, and I'm like, I'm not going down, I'm not going up. So every time I feel I'm in that middle, I do something kind of more, I guess, outrageous to try to figure out how to draw it back in, or where I feel like I'm doing something right. So,
You know, so it's funny you say like that they get the same gear from those people, because we have a guy here where my wrestler Eddie Wade wrestles TSW, and our commissioner is his name is Mike Woody, which he just had a birthday a couple days ago, so happy birthday to him. But from what I understand, he used to be a wrestler, and he used to make the mask for people like Rey Mysterio. And when Rey Mysterio went to WWE, they sent him a cease and desist letter saying you're no longer allowed to make these masks. Stop. And on that cease and desist is Vince McMahon's signature. So, yeah. So what? He can't make Rey Mysterio mask. He can still make wrestling mask if he wants, just not Rey Mysterio mask.
yeah.
But for that price, he got Vince McMahon's autograph. Like, I mean, like, he did give you something in return. He might not notice what he just did, but you just opened this mail and it's an actual signature from Vince McMahon. Like, dude, I'd be like, okay, I'm not walking out empty-handed.
Nice.
And how many people have a cease and desist signed by Vince McMahon? Like, that's like an elite club, I bet.
So Austin, go ahead with Eddie's question.
Absolutely. So this next one from Eddie. Do you have a wrestling bucket list? And if so, what's something on there that you want to check off or that you've recently checked off?
When I joined wrestling, I had 3 goals. I wanted to wrestle for WWE. I wanted to wrestle in a different country, and I wanted to make an impact. And so within the first 6 months, I wrestled for WWE. I wrestled in a WWE ring. I had a tryout. So there was that. And then now I pretty much make regular trips going over to Scotland and wrestling in Scotland consistently now. So been crossing that off, which is awesome. And then, so I guess my last thing is to somehow, some way make some kind of impact. even if it's not like me as in being signed or whatever. I do enjoy training people. Like I really enjoyed training people. So I actually used to do a kids class at the company at that company, and I trained like literally kids from like 6. My youngest was 6 years old, and like my oldest was like 14. And now my 14-year-old is actually out on the indies right now doing that. She's actually actively wrestling right now on the
wow.
indies. So, and I've wrestled her twice, as in like just being booked against each other. So that's always, it's like a full circle moment, and actually I love it. So yeah, I guess it's just like that last thing is like make some sort of kind of impact if I can. At least be a name that's remembered like when I'm gone. Like not gone as in like gone from the world, but like at least gone from the business. So
Or even like, if you talk about this part of wrestling, you can't not bring up your name, something like that, to where it's like,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
When you say you were trained by Dustin Rhodes at the Rhodes Academy, um, I was just curious, but how was that? I mean, like I've seen commercials for it before and stuff and ads.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm in like a million dozen groups and pages, but I've seen Kane and Dr. Pritchard's. I've seen Al Snow and OVW, I think, and then I've seen and then I've seen his. But what was it like? Uh, sorry, my computer just flashed on me. But yeah, what was it like learning from Dustin?
So it was really, really cool. Like I was part of his first class. So he
Really?
was still kind of getting the feel. Like I said, I was first class. Literally, I was
First for both of y'all.
yeah. So but I had already been in the business for a long time. So he at first was kind of like iffy on bringing me in because he wanted to bring in people that were completely new. So I had to like sell myself. He called me 3 different times prior to this, like, I don't know because I'm really wanting people that are new, and I'm like, okay, then I'm like, but then I had to try to sell myself, be like, Dustin, I'm just wanting to start over, get more like kind of, I really want to start over. I've been in the business at this point. I've been in the business 7 years, I think. And I was like, I want to start over. I want to literally restart completely. And finally, he was like, yeah, you know what? Come. And he was actually really happy I came because I was pretty much his test dummy on everything to show everybody how to do things. So child Shawna in my mind, child Shawna was screaming because Dustin Rhodes is giving me moves. Adult Shawna is like, ah, this like this kills, like, oh, like what the heck? Stop
Okay,
it.
but my question is, when he was demonstrating these moves on you, did
Mhm.
he do any of those moves that he did to you to the other girls as well? Did everybody get some Dustin?
No.
So see,
You,
even though they were watching, you were getting experience.
Mhm.
They didn't even understand what it was you were getting in that ring. So like you were actually benefiting more from it from your
Yeah.
side.
Yeah, and like he would like have me come in and do drills with him to show them what to do, things like that. When he was out, he actually he offered me a position at the end of it to be his assistant trainer at the end. And at that time, I could not actually move to Texas completely. I was
Yeah.
at that time I was getting married later that year to my ex-husband. So like I I had too much going on. I'm like, I can't. So he got got our friend Chad, and Chad's great. Chad's so talented, amazing, and he took the position. And so I've gone back a few times since then. I've done quite a few other showcases. I've done one of his actual shows that he does now.
It
Um,
actually says you've been their women's champion too, I think.
yeah, I've been their
That's neat.
longest. Yeah, I've been their longest reigning the Academy Women's Champion. I was their first
Yeah.
and their longest reigning.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, so it's really cool. Like going in there with one of your childhood heroes and like literally having them do freaking like getting to be able to lock up with them, getting like suplexed by them. Like one time I was just randomly talking to somebody, then all of a sudden I got turned around, boom, and he gave me his freaking finisher for no reason, and I'm like, What is going on?
Well,
You
what
know,
is it that you call me, Ty, in the group chat? I am the and I'm not being a smartass here. I really did forget. Uh,
oh,
the master what?
I think I called you the master analyst for the
Yeah,
way you cover the pay-per-views.
yeah, they call me the master analyst here for a reason because I know all these wrestling facts like the nerd I am. And it's funny we're talking about Dustin because fun fact, nobody, a lot of people don't know this, but Goldust was actually the first ever Attitude Era character. That's when they were getting out of the cartoon stuff and going into the Attitude, and
That's
Goldust was that first, you know, that first character of the Attitude Era. So like a lot of people don't know
he
that about
he
Dustin or
definitely
Goldust.
was an attitude era character. Anytime I watch
But he
old
was the
matches
very first.
or promos and stuff, like the
Well,
very
everybody else, Stone Cold
what's the
Steve
word?
Austin, The Undertaker, no one can say that they were the very first Attitude Era created wrestler, but Goldust. Goldust was the very first Attitude Era star wrestler according to wrestling history, and I think that's really neat. Like
yeah, that's really
there
cool.
can only be one first ever, and he got it, and he don't get credit for that.
Sad.
But that's why I'm the master analyst, as Ty calls me, because I know way more wrestling than I should.
It works.
So Shauna, our last question comes from Eddie, and he wants to know if there was ever a moment where you could point to your career where, it was in, I guess he phrased it as in, I proved them wrong moment. What would you say that moment would be if there ever was one?
Um, I think it's actually kind of like my whole career is I proved you freaking wrong because in
Yeah.
all growing up in school I was severely, and I mean severely, bullied, like to 18. I weighed a lot more. Like I was like, yeah, I don't remember really how much I was. Actually I do, I just don't want to say it. But I was overweight. I was the nerdy kid. I was, like I was even called the ugliest girl in school so many times. And I was even told, like, keep your eyes to the ground because we don't want to look, you don't want, yeah, like she shouldn't look anybody in the face or two, like. So I always, for the longest time, I'm a very much an introvert, like I still am. And like I have a lot of trouble making eye contact with people. And like, so my whole career as in, like, I've wrestled for the bigger companies. I've wrestled in AEW. I've wrestled in TNA. I've helped train prior COVID. I helped train the girls at WoW. Like I've done like over 50 WWEs. I've like done all this stuff. I traveled to the UK. I've wrestled in England. I've wrestled in Scotland. I've wrestled, like, all over these places. I've lost all the weight. Like I've done all these things. I even have had previous bullies message me telling me how amazing they think I am. I've had previous guys I used to have crushes on that were like, oh, like, you're freaking ugly, message me, try to hit on me. And I'm like, nope. And it's actually really satisfying too to see, like, like the girls that, like,
Yeah.
used to call me fat, ugly, and all that stuff. And now, like, like it's opposite. And it feels good. You're like, oh, boom, I freaking worked like on myself. So, like, I think that's my biggest screw you. I told you I was gonna do this and I did it. So that's really, really nice.
That's like me and Eddie. We're both in a group led by TSW's own Master Sergeant and Austin Michaels, and
Ooh.
we're in a group called the Brotherhood. And I remember that at work, people found out. People at work, You can ask people at my job. I never shut up about my dog. I'm always joking, saying stuff I shouldn't, but they know me. So I'm the guy that loves his dog and just jokes around a lot. And someone and I won't argue with him, but I don't understand why. But Austin Michaels got Mr. Fantastic on my shirt. That's what he wants me called. I'll do it. But someone at work yelled out, "Hey, Mr. Fantastic," and it stopped me in my tracks because I was like, "There's only one place they could know that from." and they showed me how they knew it on TikTok. Someone from here in our wrestling shows, they some lady, I guess she's on TikTok all the time, and she TikTok, and there I was yelling at kids and people and being the bad guy. And before I know it, everyone's gathering around like, that is not Joe. And they're like, yeah, that's Joe. And they're like, dude, what do you do on the weekends? And when I told them, and I was like, I'm actually our podcast champion, I walked in with a championship belt. They're all wanting to take pictures with it and wear it and stuff. Like, I'm like, what the heck? But when they saw the TikToks, and I didn't even know I was on this TikTok, like, I didn't know until they showed me. And when they all saw that, they were like, I can't believe that's you. They're like, they're like, you don't even seem mean. And I was like, yeah, at these shows, I was like, I'm yelling at old people, telling kids they're worthless and will never be, be worth anything. I was like, I'm the biggest a-hole you can meet. I was like, but you get the me you see at work. I was like, yeah, I'm just Joe. I was like, but that's a side of me you ain't seen. And they just thought it was like mind blowing. They're like, I can't believe what I'm watching is Joe doing this. And it was just crazy. But they all said they'd come to a show if I got beat up by a woman. And I was like, look, I was like, you guys pay and come to a show, and I see you out there, and I know for real you're there. I see you there. I will talk to the guy in charge and say, hey, let's have a woman beat me down, because that's what these people came to see. I know for a fact. So I told him, you want to see it, I'll do it. But it's just crazy how their mind were blown. They're like, I can't believe Joe does this wrestling stuff.
Yeah.
My neighbor found out. She's like 70-something years old, and she's like, how much do you get paid for this? I'm like, it's non-profitable charity organization. I was like, I don't get paid. I was like, the money goes toward like charities and causes and stuff. And she's like, and you go out there and get beat up for free? And I'm like, yeah. She goes, I don't know anyone crazy enough to do that. And I was like, it's fun. I was like, growing up, I never, ever thought this would even be a thing. And now here I am doing it. Like, bruh, if I got to take a beat down, I'm doing it.
Yes.
Shawna, I wanted to throw this in there before we get out. I really like your story because it's just inspiring to me. I haven't really gone too public with this, but I've told these guys, but a lot of people know. So next month, or I mean, last year, I decided I wanted to, do this and also become a wrestler. So I'm going to a seminar next month to start my training. And I was just the same way. Like, I was introverted. I had bullies. I was the big kid all my life. So I just wanted to mention that was inspiring. And, I've lost a whole lot of weight to even believe that I could even become a wrestler. So I just wanted to let you know that.
Oh, good. Well, good luck.
Thank you. But
what's your dog's name, by the way?
Oh, this is Buddy.
Buddy. This is Ellie Mae.
My middle
I can send you the link to her Facebook page if you like. You added me on Facebook, so you probably seen pics of her.
Yeah, I have.
This is my kiddo.
This is one of mine.
How old is he?
He is 12.
She's 9, so I've had her for a while too. We've been through a lot together.
Yeah, he was my grandma's dog, and then when grandma passed, he came to me. But he's got the beginning stages of dementia, so he gets a little iffy at nights. So
my dog's a Jack Russell Wiener dog, and like a jack-o'-lantern. We call her a jack-o'-wiener. My ex was like, we should call her a Wiener Jack, and a Wiener Jack. I was like, no way, Jack-o'-wiener. Like, that just sounds. That's what I call her. But yeah, so before we head out here, we've had you here long enough. Is there anything you want to promote? Anyone you want to shout out to? Anything you want to plug? This is your moment, your spotlight.
Socials.
Yeah.
Socials, anything you have.
Well, this weekend in Mishawaka, Indiana. Yeah. I'm wrestling actually Indy Hartwell, and my friend Storm Garcon is also in it's just a triple threat. So it's going to be pretty awesome. I'm super excited. That's in Mishawaka, Indiana this Saturday for Revolution Championship Wrestling. I'm the champion there. Gonna still walk out the champion, just saying. And then socials, Shawna Reed on Facebook, Shawna_Reed on Instagram, TikTok, wrestler Shawna Reed, and then on Twitter, Shawna Reed 93. So there's all those.
So what I'll do to make it easier on anyone who wants to follow her, I will post these socials and stuff actually in the post with this episode. And
Yeah, maybe you can put it in the comments
I
section.
got like your Facebook and stuff. You send me your Instagram and stuff, and we will get you out there, and people will know exactly where you're going to be at and where to follow you, and
Perfect.
hopefully not in a stalkish way.
Yep, and I also got a Pro Wrestling Tees store, so I'll send that too.
That we'll put on there too.
Perfect.
I remember seeing that.
Yeah,
So
what are you gonna say, Joey?
So I was gonna say, you got any final thoughts or anything? I hope we were professional with you.
You were, thanks.
All right. Well,
alrighty. So I think are you gonna take us out?
No, I was gonna say this has been a blast, and let you take it away, Ty.
Yes, we appreciate your time. It's not every day we get someone who has worked with, the bigger companies. So me personally, I appreciated the stories that you shared with all the wrestlers that I'm fans of. But that has been all. He has been Joey Hudson. She has been Shawna Reed. He has been Austin Cochran, our RPD champion. I have been Tyreek Ramsey. This has been the RPD podcast. And of course, happy wrestling.
Mm-hmm.